All right, here's another video. This deals with electricity, power, that sort of thing, electrical systems. I talked in the past about how you can feel your way. You can feel policemen down the road. You can feel what your parents feel like. You can feel for your lost objects, things like that. Electricity works the same way. If you've ever been shocked, you know what it feels like. Put a 9-volt battery to your tongue, you know what it feels like. You kind of have a feel for electricity. You know electricity in wires is supposed to flow like water. So it's supposed to be smooth, no interruptions, that sort of thing. I've had a harder time dealing with electricity, man-made electricity, than anything else. Natural electricity, not so bad at all, but man-made electricity issues. In most of my examples, I always talk about, I try to put a person in it, and this is a lot of the trial and error type times, but I do this normally solo, so I don't catch attention, and that's been the way it is my whole life. I try to do all this without garnering attention because it causes problems with people. They can't deal with it. Examples, trial and error days way back when, high school, me and a friend out on the hood of a car looking for meteors. This time we're living in Alla, Louisiana, a very small town, blinking traffic light, not a small town, but the lights were still bright. So he's like, God, it wouldn't be, it's harder to see the meteors with the city lights on. So I said, well, let me try something. He didn't know anything super weird. So let me try something. So what I pictured was you feel the electricity flowing like in two parallel lines. You feel it flowing in wires and stuff. And then I mentally crossed them and feel and believe and pushed that they crossed and caused a short circuit kind of thing. And that's the way when the transformer blew, which it did, he was kind of like, that's really, really weird. That sort of thing. So it did blow the transformers at the time. City lights went out, and it was a much better view. I've done that several times, but after a while, growing up, you realize you're impacting other people's lives, ambulances, other medical services, possibly. So it's not a good thing to do stuff like that. I don't know about you, but I personally try to keep things on the positive side and try to help people, and not do anything for personal gain. I try to really help people. So I've done this blowing the transformers several times, and then I finally started realizing it's not a good thing to do. It could cause issues. But there's another positive thing you can do with it. Like I said, you feel the electricity, you feel it when it's flowing, you kind of have an idea, cross-circuiting, how to do stuff like that. Well, just feeling for problems. One of my jobs, my main job, I was with Bell Helicopter Textron for about almost 18 years. Most of my adult career was that. So around 35 years old at Bell Helicopter, 35, 40, something like that. I worked in the safety department. In the safety department, I was able to do a whole lot without people seeing the weirdness that is me, able to do a whole lot to help people and keep people from getting injured. So it worked out really well. We were a really good crew there in the Environmental Health and Safety Department of Bell Helicopter, and it worked out really good with me being in that position with this weirdness. One of the ways, just an example, electricity, just an example. Contractors working on one of our chemical plating plants, so a machine shop, a heavy-duty machine shop. On one of the columns, there's a electrical line coming down to a big electrical outlet, and I'm walking past it, and you know how things are supposed to feel normal and smooth with a regular life that works normal. When I passed that pole, it was an impression of something's wrong. There's too much on this pole. There's something wrong here. And here's the pole, the outlet, and I'm moving my hand. I'm literally standing there moving my hand like this around this electrical outlet. And it's like something is seriously wrong here. I could almost feel it. It's like, this is not right. And I stood there. God, I could have been a minute for a long time, 30 seconds to a minute. That's forever. Doing that, weird. Finally, I went and found the supervisor for the electrical contract doing the work. I said, something is seriously wrong here. He reached over to touch it. Nope, do not touch this. Do not touch this. I said, something is wrong. You need to figure out what's wrong with this. Do not touch it. Something is not right. That's what I told him. I finally went and got one of those guys, and sure enough, they had wired it wrong. And it was a whole lot of electricity coming through there. If he had touched it, he would have been blown across the room. It was wired completely wrong to the wrong bus station or something. And he was a little freaked out because he knew somebody really could have gotten killed. And he said that somebody could have gotten killed with that by messing with it because somebody wired it wrong. So, and he was like, how did you do that? How did you know about this? What? And he pretty much insisted, how did you know? What caused you? What gave it away? And I'm like, I couldn't blow it off on coincidence at that point. So I just had to throw my hands up and just like, I'm just weird. Okay. Just weird that way. It was just that way. But after that day, whenever there was a problem that I felt electrically or something, I found them around, I would kind of sneak and ask him, "Would you mind checking on this just to make sure?" And it turned up several issues, but that was a way of, at least for that person, he knew about this little bit of weirdness, and so when I asked him to check on certain little things, he would go check it and correct it, and it never blew up and never turned into a huge problem. And it may have saved people. I didn't look for that. I mainly just wanted to fix things and try to help people. And being in this job in the safety department, it was a way to use these kind of weirdness to help people. And, that's a good goal. One of my goals anyway. Try to help people, and mainly through the life, help them without them knowing it.